what if just 4 fruits could improve your blood flow and bring back the intimacy you thought was gone? After 60, your body changes, but so can your energy, your connection, and your confidence. These aren't exotic solutions or medications, just nature's quiet tools for a better life after 60. They told you aging meant slowing down, that losing your spark, your energy, and even your closeness was just something you had to accept. But the truth is, much of what we believe about growing older isn't fact, it's habit. My name is Dr. James. I've spent more than 3 decades working with older adults, helping them rediscover what it means to feel alive in their bodies again. And in all my years, I've learned one powerful truth. Change is possible at any age. You don't need prescriptions. You don't need drastic therapies. Sometimes, all it takes is 4 simple fruits. Yes, fruits that work naturally with your body to improve circulation and revive intimacy. And today, I'm going to show you exactly what they are and how to use them. So stay with me, because what you're about to learn might just change how you feel, how you connect, and how you experience life after 60. Red grapes, the flow restorer. There was a time early in my career when I firmly believed that only medications could restore circulation in aging bodies. I had studied the science, followed the protocols, and leaned on what I was taught in medical school. But over the years, something shifted. I began listening more closely to my older patients, the ones who defied aging, who still felt alive, present, and connected well into their 70s and 80s. They didn't just rely on pills or procedures. They lived differently. And their stories kept pointing me to something I never expected, a humble bowl of red grapes. At first, I dismissed it. Grapes? Could something that simple really matter? But I kept hearing the same thing from different people in different parts of the country. So I dug into the research. And what I found wasn't just surprising, it was powerful. Red grapes contain a natural compound called resveratrol, an antioxidant that helps relax and expand blood vessels. This allows more oxygen-rich blood to flow freely throughout your body to your brain, your heart, your muscles, and yes, even your most intimate areas. What makes red grapes so remarkable is not just that they help circulation in general, but that they target the very places where aging hits hardest. As we grow older, one of the most common complaints I hear is about cold feet, numbness in the legs, or a loss of sensitivity and responsiveness during intimacy. These are all signs of reduced blood flow, signs that the body is struggling to deliver what it once did with ease. Red grapes help restore that freedom of flow. For older men, this can be life-changing. I've seen it firsthand. When resveratrol boosts nitric oxide production, it improves the ability of blood vessels to dilate. That means stronger, more reliable blood flow, which is essential for healthy erectile function. And the best part? It's natural. No side effects, no synthetic chemicals, just gentle, steady support that works with your body. For women, the benefits are just as meaningful. Blood flow to the pelvic region often diminishes with age, leading to dryness, discomfort, and reduced sensation during closeness. Red grapes help reverse that. With regular consumption, they support vascular sensitivity, increase warmth, and restore a sense of comfort and connection that many thought had quietly faded away. But the magic of red grapes isn't just in their nutrients, it's in what they represent. They remind us that healing doesn't always have to be hard, that sometimes small choices repeated consistently can open doors we thought were permanently closed. I remember a woman in her late 60s who told me with tears in her eyes that a bowl of grapes at lunch had become her daily ritual of self-care. She said it wasn't just the fruit, it was the hope it gave her, the gentle reminder that she was still worth the effort. I've also seen couples rediscover each other in the simplest ways. A handful of grapes after dinner, a shared snack on the back porch, a quiet conversation sparked by a renewed sense of warmth, both physically and emotionally. These changes may seem small, but their impact is profound. So if you're wondering where to begin, this may be your answer. Not a drastic overhaul, not another bottle of pills, just a trip to the produce aisle and a promise to yourself. Red grapes, small, sweet, and surprisingly powerful. They don't just nourish your body, they restore something deeper. The freedom to feel, to connect, and to live fully again. Cranberries, the kidney guardian. If there's one fruit I used to overlook, it was the cranberry. For years, I associated it only with Thanksgiving tart, bright and decorative on the plate. But as I began working more deeply with older adults, I noticed something. The people who seemed to age most gracefully, with fewer complaints of fatigue, discomfort, or intimacy issues, often had one thing in common. They ate cranberries, not just during holidays, but as a regular part of their routines. I became curious, so I started listening, researching, and experimenting with patients. And what I found changed everything. Cranberries are so much more than a seasonal garnish. They are powerful guardians of two often overlooked systems that quietly shape how we feel as we age: the kidneys and the urinary tract. These organs might not get much attention in everyday conversation, but their function directly affects circulation, energy, and sexual vitality. When your kidneys are healthy, your blood is cleaner, your blood pressure is more stable, inflammation is lower. All of this contributes to better flow, clearer thinking, and stronger connection with your own body and with your partner. But when kidney function declines, toxins begin to build up in your bloodstream. This doesn't just affect how you feel physically. It clouds your mind, slows your body, and diminishes your desire for closeness. Circulation becomes sluggish, sensitivity drops, and chronic discomfort begins to creep into places we often feel too embarrassed to talk about. That's where cranberries come in. Rich in antioxidants and compounds like proanthocyanidins, they help reduce inflammation, protect the lining of the urinary tract, and support the filtration work your kidneys do every single day. For men, this means improved erectile strength and stamina, because better kidney function supports the production of nitric oxide, the molecule responsible for initiating and maintaining blood flow to the penis. But unlike chemical enhancers, cranberries support this system gently, from within, and without disrupting your body's balance. I once had a 74-year-old patient who struggled with frequent urinary issues and felt constantly fatigued. He told me intimacy had become rare, not because he didn't want it, but because he didn't feel well enough to even consider it. We introduced a simple change cranberry juice in the morning, unsweetened, followed by dried cranberries sprinkled into his lunch salad. A few weeks later, he was smiling again. Not because all his problems vanished overnight, but because he felt good enough to enjoy moments again, walking without discomfort, sleeping through the night, and even holding hands with his wife without feeling distant. Sometimes that's all it takes to shift your world. For women, cranberries offer similar gifts. Many experience urinary discomfort as they age, irritation, dryness, recurring infections that make intimacy painful or unappealing. Cranberries help soothe and protect those sensitive systems, reducing inflammation and making daily life more comfortable. And when the body feels safe, it becomes easier to be present, open, and affectionate. I remember a woman in her early 60s who had stopped being intimate with her husband for nearly a year. Not because she didn't love him, but because she felt ashamed of her discomfort. When we added cranberries to her diet consistently, along with hydration and a few lifestyle tweaks, her symptoms eased, and so did the distance between them. What she told me still echoes in my mind. I didn't just get comfort back, I got us back. Cranberries don't need to be complicated. A handful in the afternoon, a splash of juice in the morning, a sprinkle over your oatmeal. They're simple to enjoy and powerful in effect. But more than anything, they are a symbol of what's possible. A small act of nourishment that ripples out to touch every corner of your well-being. So if you've ever felt disconnected, tired, or unsure of how to start healing your body, consider this one small step. Let cranberries be a part of your day, not as a supplement or a quick fix, but as a quiet, consistent ally. You might be surprised by how much better your body feels when it knows someone is finally listening. Papaya, the energy awakener. There's something undeniably comforting about papaya. Its golden orange flesh, soft texture, and sweet scent feel like a memory, like sunshine on your skin after a long winter, or a quiet morning when nothing hurts and everything feels possible. But behind that gentle sweetness lies a fruit with remarkable strength. Papaya is not just a pleasant breakfast item. It is, in many ways, an energy awakener for the aging body, especially for those who feel they've lost a step, a spark, or the desire to connect. I remember one gentleman who came to my office in his early 70s. He had spent his life as a teacher and mentor, always strong, dependable, and grounded. But lately, he said, he had been feeling like a shadow of himself. Tired by noon, restless at night, and distant from the woman who had shared his life for over 40 years. He wasn't depressed, just drained. I eat clean, he told me. I walk every day. I try to rest, but I feel like the fire is gone. We talked, we listened, and we made one very small addition to his routine. A cup of ripe papaya in the morning, blended with plain yogurt and a few walnuts on top. 3 weeks later, he was back. His energy had returned, not in a dramatic, movie-like way, but in the small, meaningful details. Deeper sleep, brighter mornings, a stronger stride, a gentle but unmistakable return of desire. Papaya had helped remind his body what it was capable of. You see, papaya is rich in vitamins A, C, and E, all essential for immune strength, skin health, and hormone regulation. But what truly makes it stand out are its enzymes. One in particular, called papain, supports digestion and reduces inflammation, especially in the gut and bloodstream. When inflammation drops, the body can perform better in every area: circulation, mental clarity, and even sexual responsiveness. For men, papaya supports natural testosterone production and enhances the flexibility of blood vessels, improving blood flow to vital areas. That means firmer, more sustainable erections, not forced by medication, but supported by the body's own processes. And for women, papaya can help regulate estrogen levels, improve pelvic circulation, and ease common symptoms like dryness, tension, and fatigue. Many of my female patients report that after just a couple of weeks of eating papaya regularly, they feel warmer, more relaxed, and more open to intimacy again, not out of pressure, but from genuine comfort. What I love most about papaya is that it doesn't demand effort. You don't need to cook it, blend it with powders, or measure out servings. You simply slice it open, scoop it out, and enjoy. It's food in its truest form, nourishing, healing, and deeply connected to your body's natural rhythms. One woman I worked with in her late 60s began keeping a bowl of cubed papaya in her fridge. "It's like a quiet little gift," she told me. "I eat it slowly. I feel it settling something in me, and for the rest of the day, I feel lighter." That's not a medical result on a chart, but it's real, it's meaningful, and it matters. Because sometimes what we need most isn't more medication or more effort, it's more kindness, more softness, more nutrients that support us gently, like an old friend who doesn't need to say much to make us feel safe again. Papaya does that. It doesn't shout, it whispers. It restores you without asking for anything in return. And for those of us over 60, it's not just a fruit. It's a signal to your body that you are still vibrant, still worthy of care, and still capable of deep energy and connection. So the next time you pass by a papaya in the grocery store, I encourage you to pause, pick it up, bring it home, cut it open, let it remind you that food can still feel like medicine, but better, because it tastes like something sweet and soft and hopeful, and because sometimes healing begins with the smallest, most beautiful bite. Cherries, the intimacy booster. There's something timeless about cherries. Maybe it's their deep red colour, rich like velvet, or the way they make you slow down as you eat them one by one. But beneath their beautiful appearance lies a powerful secret, especially for those of us in life's later chapters. Cherries are far more than just a nostalgic fruit. They are, in many ways, a bridge back to intimacy, gently, quietly, and naturally. Years ago, I met a couple in their late 60s who had been married for over 4 decades. They had been through life's ups and downs together, raising children, facing illness, losing loved ones, and building a life side by side. But recently, something had shifted. The husband told me he felt distant from his body, not broken, just dulled. Intimacy had become a source of quiet sadness. He missed the closeness, the spark, the unspoken warmth of being together. His wife, gentle and patient, missed it too but didn't want to pressure him. They still loved each other deeply, but felt unsure of how to reconnect. I introduced them to Cherries, not as a cure-all, but as a gift. I told them how this simple fruit sweet, rich and full of life could support blood flow, calm inflammation, and even restore the hormonal rhythms that intimacy depends on. They were skeptical, but open. And 2 months later, they came back to me smiling. The spark hadn't just returned. It had grown into something deeper. "It's not like we're teenagers again," she said. "It's better. It's slower. It's warmer. It's us." Cherries are rich in anthocyanins, the same compounds that give them their deep color. These antioxidants reduce inflammation in the arteries, improve vascular flexibility, and enhance nitric oxide production, one of the most important molecules for healthy circulation. And when blood flows more freely, everything improves: mental clarity, physical energy, and sexual response. For older men, this can mean firmer erections, longer lasting intimacy, and a renewed sense of control and confidence. And for women, cherries help increase blood flow to the pelvic region, easing dryness and discomfort, and making closeness not just possible, but pleasurable again. But cherries don't just work on the body, they soothe the mind. They contain natural melatonin, which supports deep, restful sleep. And we all know how important sleep is. When we sleep well, our stress levels drop, our hormones balance, and our emotional resilience grows. These things matter deeply, especially in a relationship. Because intimacy isn't just physical, it's emotional. It's about being present, relaxed, and open to connection. And sleep lays the foundation for all of that. One woman once told me that eating cherries at night had become her ritual. She'd sit quietly, a small bowl in her lap, and let the day soften around her. She said it wasn't just about nutrition, it was about slowing down. And that slowing down made space for intimacy to return, not rushed or expected, but welcome. In a world that often pushes us to fix things fast, cherries offer a different approach, a gentler one. They remind us that healing isn't always about big changes. Sometimes it's about being willing to stay open, to offer our bodies something nourishing, to offer our hearts something hopeful. If you felt the quiet ache of distance in your relationship, if you've missed the kind of touch that speaks without words, consider this small step. A bowl of cherries in the evening, a shared snack, a way back to each other that begins not with pressure, but with presence. Cherries don't promise fireworks, but they often deliver something far more lasting: comfort, connection, and a sense that you're still very much alive in your body, in your relationship, and in your desire to love and be loved. Final section, putting it all together. Now that you've discovered these 4 powerful fruits, red grapes, cranberries, papaya, and cherries, you might wonder how to begin. The good news is you don't need to overhaul your diet or follow a strict routine. Just start with one. Maybe it's a few grapes with lunch, some dried cranberries in your salad, or papaya with your breakfast. Let it be simple, natural, and part of your day, not a chore, but a quiet act of self-care. Change won't come overnight, but with consistency, your body will notice. Warmer hands, clearer thoughts, deeper sleep, a renewed sense of connection to yourself, and maybe to someone beside you. These signs may be subtle at first, but they matter because they are proof your body is still listening and still able to respond. And here's what I've learned in over 30 years of working with older adults: it's never too late. Not to feel better, not to be closer, not to wake up feeling more alive. Aging doesn't mean giving up. It means choosing what matters most and finally giving yourself permission to feel good again. You've carried so much through life: work, worry, love, loss. Now it's time to care for yourself, not out of fear, but out of kindness. Not because you need fixing, but because you still have so much to enjoy. These fruits aren't magic. They're not quick fixes, but they support your body in the way it needs, most gently, naturally, and from within. One small choice, repeated daily, can help restore not just blood flow, but a sense of vitality you thought was gone. So today, let your next bite of fruit be more than just nutrition. Let it be a reminder you're still here, you're still growing, and you still deserve connection, energy, and joy. If this message resonated with you, leave a comment below and share your favorite fruit to start with. Let's support each other on this journey. And if you haven't already, hit subscribe for more natural ways to feel strong, healthy, and connected after 50. Because the best part, this isn't the end, it's just the beginning. Thank you for being here. Thank you for still choosing life. I'm honored to walk this path beside you.